Hey everyone, Brandon here from Building Wealth Flow. I have something for you. I call it the 557 investing plan. I live by it and it has created a lot great wealth and great cash flow. I hope you look at it, see if it's a good fit for you. I look forward to you to joining me on this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment what you think about this video. I sure would appreciate it. I pray that you have stewardship of the knowledge and money you are entrusted with. Join me here. Okay, everybody, I want to talk about the 557 investing plan. And these all mean something specific, something that I've seen throughout my life, and also what my experience has been over the last 10 years. The first one is with the 5 is how often does your investment double? I use the rule of 72, and the reason I come up with 5, there is a specific reason. Doubling every 5 years versus doubling every 10 years. If we look at the S&P 500 from 2000 to the end of 2024, that's 25 years. I would ask you to say, how much did the S&P 500 grow in rate as an average growth over those 25 years? You would be surprised. It's 7.3% growth over those 25 years. If you use that 7.3 and divide it into that 72, that's doubling every 10 years. And if you're saving for retirement for 40 years, that's only 4 times that it doubles. And you wonder why the accumulation method never gets to financial freedom. The wealthy know this and hold their money accountable, and they're looking for a specific return. And let me go to this. So the dead money, there's 4 conditions of money. Dead money is money that barely keeps up with inflation. If we look at what's that CPI number, what we actually experience is so much more. If they're saying 2.7% inflation, you and I both know we see it more. We see it almost probably double in our lives. And what's interesting is CPI only calculates consumables from entertainment to utilities to gas to food to beverage. Even with rents, with housing, it's only calculating owner equivalent rents. It doesn't calculate assets. Interesting. But dead money is 0 to 4%. You're not even keeping up with inflation. You're losing money by saving money. That's why Kiyosaki talked about savers or losers, not because they're losers in that they're not good people, but they're losing in the current system the way inflation is eating and eroding your savings. Safe money, well, that's 5 to 9%. I'm going to put this in black so that you can see it that much more. 5 to 9%. So we're just barely beating inflation. Healthy money, that's 10 to 13%. What's interesting with this safe money, with the S&P 500, and sorry, my allergies are bothering me today. S&P 500's in this safe money. But here's the issue. The wealthy hold their money accountable, and their minimum return is 14%. But what they know is they're not going to be passive investors in that they're not actively investing. They're going to be active investors. They know that to get that 14%, they have to become active investors. So they're going from here to here. And if you take that number 14 and divide it into 72, your money doubles at minimum every 5 years. I know they get 14% and higher. That's the minimal. You want to have that doubling so much more faster than being diversified into an S&P or in the stock market or any other investment, because you can't reach financial freedom fast enough. You don't have enough doubling. The math of time is working against you. You want to be doubling double the amount of what this number is for the S&P 500 from 2000 to 2024 of that 7.3. You can't keep up, and you can't reach financial freedom. And the wealthy know that. So you need to look for investments that are in that first 5-plan, which is active investing at least 14%. It pays you. The principle is, I take that lesson, that analogy of taking a penny and doubling every day for 30 days. Would you take it versus taking a $5 million? Well, here's what happens. And I've got the notes here so I remember the numbers. In the first 10 doublings, it only hits $10. Then it doubles another 10 more. So this is 20 doublings of that penny. You're still only at $10,000. At 25 doublings, you're still now starting to get a little bit of money. It's $335,000. But it's in that last 5 doublings where the magic happens. It ends up at over $10 million. And that's what the wealthy understands, that rule of 72. We've got to get that doubling higher and better returns, which in part is active investing. It's the magic. I call it, it happens slowly, where you barely can feel it, then suddenly. And you've got to be in active investing, getting 14% returns. The second 5 is making money in investing in real estate. What I teach is you make money 5 possible ways. The first way is cash flow. That's buying an investment. Sorry, my allergies are really bad. Buying real estate, you must buy real estate that produces positive cash flow with all the expenses and holding back reserves for vacancy, maintenance, repairs, and long-term maintenance. They must cash flow with that. The second one is principal paydown. Your renters are paying down the balance because you're using healthy leverage. Leverage that doesn't put the property in jeopardy. And I always recommend, I'm a little conservative, but I want you to keep the properties for the long term. I want you to make it. I don't want you to be highly leveraged and it must go perfectly or you lose the property. And I recommend always starting out at 70% loan to value. So that's the second way you make money. The third is no or low taxes. So from the cash flow, because of the way you're doing it with leverage, most likely your cash flow is tax-free. You're not going to pay any income on all that cash flow. And the beauty is you can use that cash flow today to either live on with expenses or reinvest that cash flow into buying additional properties. And the more properties you own, the more magic happens and the more additional cash flow until one day You're at that harvesting phase, capitalizing on all your investments, and you're living off the cash flow and never having to sell the investment to pay the bills. So that's the third. The fourth is appreciation. The natural appreciation over time. This doesn't happen instantly. This is over time. In a typical 10-year period, the property will appreciate in 10 years. And the lowest amount of appreciation since the 1940s was the 1990s, but it's still appreciated at 30% in that 10-year period. And the fifth one, I call it the final one that some of you can do, it's that magic, is forced appreciation. This is what I do in the build to rent. It could be you're buying one on the resale market where you're buying it under value, or you're doing improvements into the property, or you're increasing the rents because the rents were way below market, where that multifamily is now worth that much more because it creates that much more cash flow. Forced appreciation. So what you're doing, the magic of the 5 ways is through investing in real estate with leverage, is you're taking $1, and that $1 with healthy leverage is now doing the work of $5. That's why you can get ahead so fast. Is the magic of leverage in a cash flowing property. That $1 of your initial investment is now doing work as if you put $5 into it, and magnifying that. So that $1 is doing the work of $5 because you're making money 5 different ways, from the cash flow to the principal pay down, no taxes. So you're getting this investment tax-free on the cash flow, most likely, natural appreciation, and that 5th one, that magic one, is being able to buy properties and buy investments in real estate that have forced appreciation from day one. Now, talking about the 7. Most economic cycles in history, they run at about 7-year economic cycles. What I see of the people that even get into real estate is they don't hold on to them long enough to see all the benefits of appreciation, the principal pay down, and the increase in growth with rents of increased cash flow with rents. And I would say many times when they have to get out, there are lots of occasions that they get out because of liquidity issues. Either they purchased it wrong, didn't underwrite, and didn't include all the expenses, or they're highly leveraged and they didn't create the liquidity they needed to keep the investment for the long term. Or another reason is they get impatient and they see the next shiny object, the next new cool investing trend, and they sell out of it and get into another investment, and they're constantly turning over into multiple investments over and over, year after year, and they wonder why they can't get ahead. It's those that are patient with real estate, that bought right, and they hold it for at least 7 years in that 7-year economic cycle. It's 7 years plus where you start seeing the real benefits of long-term buy and hold investing. It's staying in it for the long term. That's where you get the benefit. So that's my 5-5-7 investing plan. What I recommend you look at, consider, if you're not in real estate, the hardest one is the first one. It is very hard. It was hard for me too. It's that first one, stepping out in faith, buying that first one, but being a good steward with your money, holding that money accountable, buying the right investment that cash flows. Then you'll start seeing how you make money 5 ways. But be patient. Stay with it. This is hard. The first several years, You feel like you're not getting ahead, but you start to see after the 7 years plus the hockey stick effect of not only the principal pay down, but the appreciation and the increased cash flow over time. That is my 557 investing plan. Hope you enjoyed. This is what I'm living out. I'm seeing it in my family's own life of staying with it, staying patient. This is not flashy. That's why the new investing trends, there's always changes. This is not flashy, but it works. If you own 5 properties, I guarantee you after 10 years with those properties, you will reach financial independence. You will see the beauty of it. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time.